I'm not going to be here. I get it. It's fine. I was like, I could have sworn.
The following is a presentation of Main Street Media, your source for news, sports, and information on Main Street in Middle Tennessee. Main Street Media, live from SEC Media Days in Atlanta, is presented by Shelter Insurance of Dixon and Jim Pratt and Heather Clifton. Shelter Insurance. We're your shield. We're your shelter. And in part by Bone and Joint Institute of Tennessee, Steve Jones Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram Fiat, Jeff Eby for State Representative, Red Bird Realty, Porter Brothers HVAC LLC, Area 51 Tech Solutions, Micah Blunt State Farm Agency, Middle Tennessee Bone and Joint, Denton's The TV Store, Fast Stop Markets of Middle Tennessee, C&K Forklift Service and Repair, First Lending Solutions and Pam Witt, and by the Roxy 8 Theater of Dixon.
Flags. 30 years of the best sports talk in Middle Tennessee, featuring Tennessee Radio Hall of Famer George Plaster, Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame coach Watson Brown, and Young Guns Billy Derrick and Michael Cindric. And now, here's your host, George Plaster.
And hello again, everybody. Welcome in from the College Football Hall of Fame down in Atlanta. This is where SEC football media days are going on. A lot of good stuff to get into as we get the show started. Billy Derrick is alongside. Watson Brown will join us here in just a few moments. You look around here and you see all this activity going on, and you realize what a massive facility this is. It is a real shrine for college football. And you see this, if you're ever in the Atlanta area, there are two things that you need to see. This is one of them, right in the heart of downtown. The other is Truist Park, home of your defending world champion Atlanta Braves. And all of us who travel from Nashville are glad it is no longer in Fulton County, but instead in Cobb County. Billy, how are you today?
George, I'm doing good. It's been a busy day here in Atlanta. We've got 4 teams. Of course, Tuesday and Wednesday are always the big days here in Atlanta. We're going to do our best to get Watson back in here and actually have him a part of the show. But it's been a busy day, George. Clark Lea was in the news for some of his comments. Nick Saban, of course, we had our daily gospel reading or a yearly gospel reading from Nick Saban. So it's a busy day, but that means a lot to get to with George in the news.
The Pope has spoken.
Yes, he has taken the stage.
From the Vatican, which apparently moved from Rome to Tuscaloosa. So, first of all, I want to say hello to a dear friend of both Watson and mine. Probably as good a college fundraiser on the athletic side as there ever was. George Bennett, watching today in Clemson, South Carolina. George, if you were with us, it is an honor to have you on board, and I hope you'll continue to watch, and you'll learn that there's a reason I was in radio for 30 years and not on television. So, are we going to go update?
Let's do it, George.
Okay.
This update is presented by the Justin Tucker team with Platinum Realty Partners. They are proven to be trusted with your most personal asset. The Justin Tucker team. Call 615-906-8458. And, George, we start with some baseball. We've got the All-Star game tonight, George, and I know that could be maybe a little sneak peek, but we'll leave that to your bet of the day. But All-Star game tonight, George. Clayton Kershaw versus Shane McClanahan. And are you as excited? I know you've talked about this before, but we've got the All-Star game tonight. Does it feel like there's that anticipation anymore for an event like this?
Here's what's going on, Billy, and it first hit me around the turn of the century. I went to the All-Star game down here at Turner Field in 2001, and I was absolutely shocked. I had always thought that this was the best All-Star game in sports. The National League used to hate losing to the American League, and they had, when I was growing up, a long winning streak. They absolutely dominated the American League. Well, guess what? The American League has won the last 8 and 22 of the last 25. That's ridiculous. That should never have happened. The National League's better than that.
I mean,
At least I think they are.
They should be. I mean, the American League right now, they've got the advantage. So we'll have to see if the National League can bounce back to them.
You know, I would hope that there would be some level of pride that somebody, one of the veterans on the National League team, would walk in here tonight and say, you know, I'm damn sick and tired of losing. Let's go out and win.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, the pride, that's what I look at. There's not much pride in the All-Star game.
No, and here's the other thing that's happened. As you have seen this evolution of people who throw 98 to 102, what has really gone on in the All-Star game in recent years is that each one of these flamethrowers comes in, throws an inning, strikes out 2 or 3. There's been very little action in recent years. And the All-Star game, quite frankly, has been very dull. There needs to be a little action to it. You know, this. By the way, some of you may not know this. If the game is tied tonight after 9 innings, they will go to this stupid
home run derby. Yeah. That tells you a little bit about the All-Star game and what it's turned
really
into.
Does. It does.
George, more baseball. The MLBPA chief, Tony Clark, is hopeful that the league can get to a world of 32 teams. Rob Manfred recently said he supports this expansion as well. The full quote from Tony Clark is, "We are hopeful that we can find ourselves in a world of 32 teams rather than 30." And that comes less than a month after Rob Manfred said he would love to get to 32. So what, how, and where? Those are the questions that are coming up after that.
Well, first of all, I don't think that the powers that be in Major League Baseball care one way or the other what Tony Clark thinks. Tony Clark has been, in my mind, a fairly ineffective leader of the players' union. He is a poor man's Marvin Miller, for sure. But there does seem to be this consensus of getting to 32. And I think what that does mean, baseball has been adamant that they will not go down this road until they have the Oakland and the Tampa Bay situation settled. So you've got 2 openings that I would assume are going to happen there. I agree with the guy we had on last week from the San Francisco Chronicle.
Steve Croner.
Yeah, Nashville has no shot at the A's. But they do have a shot if Tampa Bay finally decides to get out of that toilet that is Tropicana Field. Then, if that doesn't happen and you add 2 expansion teams, then Nashville's going to get its name in there. Now, we know the problems. The first one is, for all this talk out of John Moore and his group, show me an owner. Show me somebody who says, I'm willing to put down $1 billion plus to be the owner here in Nashville. And Moore and his group have done a very effective job in sort of getting the buzz out there. Other than that, it means absolutely nothing. Until you know who the owner is that steps up and says, I'm going to be the one, it means nothing. That said, we're an attractive city. We're a very attractive city. And people are going to look at us. Now, if the Titans Stadium gets built at $2.2 billion, does that hurt Major League Baseball's chances here? I don't see how it couldn't.
Yeah.
We're not exactly rolling in the dough. We may need George Bennett to come in and raise money for the city. George, If you're on to the task, you call the show and let us know.
We'll keep up with George on that one. But yeah, George, that'll be interesting to watch. We'll see if Nashville is able to get a baseball team. And George, let's move on. The Pac-12 and the Big 12 will not merge. So bad news for some people, but good news for other teams like Oregon. And you get a team like Oregon, this kind of opens themselves up for maybe the Big Ten. Probably not the SEC, but most likely the Big Ten in this scenario. So, what do you make of that, George? The Pac-12 and Big 12, they say no, we don't want to work with each other.
I think the last two stories in our update today are maybe interchangeable, because what you've really got here is a big old waiting game with Notre Dame loving the fact that they are kind of the cat daddy that everybody's waiting on. And the next story that you're going to bring up really goes to that point. So go ahead and do it.
George, next story, Notre Dame is targeting a $75 million annual media rights payout in a quest to remain independent. Power 5 shoulder programming around Notre Dame games will be key to making such a deal happen, says Dennis Dodd. I've seen him here at SEC Media Days. He's done a really, really good job. So, they're Notre Dame. They get to do what they want.
If I were in BC, I would tell Notre Dame to shove it. And I'll tell you why I'd tell them to shove it. Too many of those games that NBC gets are unattractive. They're the Northwestern or the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. Too many of Notre Dame's best games end up on other networks. For $75 million, I tell them to take a hike.
They got to give up some of those games. And isn't that the next step for Notre Dame? You're going to have to give up an Air Force or an Army or a couple of those to open yourself up.
Yeah, if you look, and I'm sure NBC is going to bring this to the table, not enough of the big games end up on NBC to pay that kind of rights fee. Now, that said, I'm not their financial advisor, but on first blush, I would tell them to shut up. Yes.
It's time for the break.
I don't doubt that. When we come back, the Pope, Nick Saban, will join us in some form or fashion. We're going to listen to part of what he had to say earlier today when he spoke to the media. And by the way, last as I knew, the Vatican was in Rome, but today it sure felt like it was in Tuscaloosa. Stick around. This is the George Plaster Show on Main Street Media Television.
Buying or selling a home can be a very personal experience. Why not go with the team that receives nearly all of their business from referrals? Clearly a trusted name in real estate. The Justin Tucker team with Platinum Realty Partners has sold more than 500 homes in the last 7 years. Voted best in Sumner County multiple times. Proven to be trusted with your most personal assets. Call the Justin Tucker team with Platinum Realty Partners at 615-906-8458. The Justin Tucker team with Platinum Realty Partners, Middle Tennessee's most trusted team in realty.
I highly recommend Sumner Funeral and Cremation because of their caring nature and attentiveness to detail.
Pre-planning your funeral now will bring you peace of mind and less stress to your loved ones. When the chaos of losing you happens, your family can honor and celebrate your life, knowing things are happening just as you wanted them to. Pre-planning determines the details of your funeral, cemetery services, and can be less expensive. We are honored to serve you and are always here for you in your time of need.
Sumner Funeral and Cremation. Traditional, affordable, dignified. Sumner Funeral.
Jody Jones Dentistry can handle all your dental needs, from the basics to cosmetic procedures. All of this in the nicest dental facility I have ever seen. Jody has done it right. They're located conveniently at 55 Music Square East, and for an appointment, it's simple. Dial 615-259-5100 and tell them Plaz sent you.
When you're thinking about golf, consider Riverside Golf Links. Under new ownership, the course has improved dramatically. It's now 27 holes, complemented by a 9-hole executive course. Book a tee time now at 615-847-5074 and get ready to enjoy the beauty of golf in the Old Hickory area at Riverside Golf Links.
Hey everyone, I'm John English. This is Keith Wallace, and we would like to welcome you to John English Antique Sports and Cards in Shelbyville, Tennessee. We specialize in graded and ungraded sports and non-sports cards, vintage wax boxes, and unopened cases. We have a large selection of PSA graded cards. We also specialize in old sports collectibles, baseball, football, basketball, golf, and tennis. You can find it all at John English Antique Sports and Cards. We are happy to be associated with Nashville's greatest sports antique, George Plaster.
Have you heard about the high levels of radon in Middle Tennessee? Radon gas is the second leading cause of lung cancer, second only to smoking, and has no color, no taste, and no smell. The only way to know if you have radon is to test for it. Duret Radon Mitigation offers testing for small and large-scale residential and commercial properties, plus mitigation services. Visit DuretRadonMitigation.com to request testing or get a free estimate for mitigation. That's DuretRadonMitigation.com.
Are back at SEC Media Days down in Atlanta. Let's say hello, first of all, to Coach Watson Brown, who joins us from the Plateau. Watson, how are you?
George, I'm good. I think we finally, can you hear me?
I can. Guess who I think is watching us?
Who's watching us?
The legendary, in my opinion, the best fundraiser I've ever been around on the athletic side, George Bennett.
George Bennett. Gosh, I hadn't seen George in forever. How did he Facebook you or something? How do
He
you
sure
know?
did. And
Good.
I gave him all the info on how to find us. If he's smart, he'll go play golf. Anyway.
Hello, George Bennett, if you're watching, man.
Absolutely. Listen, hang with us. We're about to hear from Nick Saban, and all rise for the gospel reading. And what do we have to read before Uncle Nick?
Before Uncle Nick, I got a couple reads here. George, the 4 o'clock hour is brought to you by Sumner Funeral and Cremation, sharing their family with yours in your time of need. Now with 2 convenient locations in Gallatin and Hendersonville, and online at sumnerfuneral.com. Sumner Funeral and Cremation, traditional, affordable, and dignified. And George, since we're talking Alabama, we've got a sponsor for that. Allstate is our sponsor for that. As an Allstate agent in Gallatin, Larry Maynard knows many local families. His knowledge and understanding of the people in this community helps him provide customers with an outstanding level of service. Call 615-452-1500.
Okay, this was earlier this morning down at the podium. Nick Saban, and as you can imagine, a cast of thousands watching him.
Tyler Shaw with KBTX and College Station. Nick, do you feel like things are resolved between you and Jimbo Fisher? And are you concerned at all with the direction of college football with the way NIL is right now?
Well, first of all, I have no issues or problems with Jimbo. He's done a great job at A&M. He did a great job for us. I always take
not for me.
Criticisms or whatever in a positive way to self-assess me personally in terms of maybe there is something that I could do better. And so any comments that anybody makes, you or any coach, I always take into consideration. So, but there is no issues or problems. I've spoke on this subject of You know, name, image, and likeness is a great thing for players, and I'm all for players having the opportunity to create whatever value they can create for themselves. And, you know, our players did extremely well last year. I think they made over $3 million in name, image, and likeness. And, but I do think that the concerns are, you know, there has to be some guidelines that sort of protect competitive balance, you know, in how we do this. And, you know, the advent of collectives has created a way for, you know, third parties to make contributions to marketing organizations who can create opportunities for players, which I think is a good thing. I don't think it's a bad thing at all. Creates opportunities for players. That's a good thing. I think when it's used in recruiting and players start making choices and decisions based on promises that are made in name, image, and likeness, I'm not sure that is a good thing. So I do think there needs to be some guidelines, you know, in that. And I think there needs to be transparency in, you know, how all that's done. And I do think there needs to be some protection for players when it comes to people who represent them and third parties who are involved, people who get between, you know, the money and the player, because you know, those people have a responsibility and obligation to professionally represent the players in a first-class way. And, you know, right now we have no guidelines for, you know, any of these things. And I think, you know, that's a bit of a concern.
To your left, front row, Coach.
Hey, Coach. Jacques Doucet, WAP-TV in Baton Rouge. So many great coaches in this league already. I just want to get your thoughts on Brian Kelly from Notre Dame coming to LSU and what he brings to the conference.
Brian Kelly is an outstanding coach, really good person. You know, we played Notre Dame a couple times in the playoffs at Alabama, and their teams are always extremely well coached, very competitive, had the right kind of mindset in terms of, you know, how they went out there and performed and how they played, very disciplined in terms of how they went out and executed. So I have the utmost respect for, you know, Brian Kelly and the job that he'll do at LSU.
To your right, Coach, second row.
Coach, last week, Anwar Richardson, OrangeBloods.com. Last week at Big 12 Media Days, Coach Sarkisian said he wouldn't be there without you. I wondered if you maybe talked about the relationship that you had with Sark when he was on your staff, why you decided to bring him on, and maybe talk about the game that you guys will be traveling and playing in Texas in week 2.
Yeah, well, Sark did, you know, is one of the finest coaches that we've ever had on our staff. You know, did an outstanding job, does a good job with player relations, very well organized, very good play caller on game day. Just did a fantastic job. So really excited for him and his family that, you know, he got the opportunity to go to Texas. And I know they're going to have a really challenging team, you know, for us next year. It's going to be, you know, a very competitive game, which I'm sure their players are looking forward to and our players are looking forward to, which is what makes college football great. But I have a really good relationship with Sark. He always very, very respectful of, you know, the head coach, our relationship, the principles and values of the organization that he sort of instilled in the players and reinforced in a positive way. So I can't say enough good things about, you know, Sark and how he contributed to the program and the success that I think he'll have at Texas.
Front row here, and then we'll go to the gentleman next.
Good morning, Coach. E.P. Stedham, WHEP, Foley, Alabama. Coach, you've scouted hundreds, if not thousands, of players in your career. Can you recall those initial thoughts about Will Anderson Jr. and Bryce Young and the players they've become at Alabama?
Yeah, well, you know, Bryce was an outstanding player, you know, in high school. I think they won a state championship, lost the state championship in the finals, but you know, he was very productive, very collected in how he sort of led his team and the choices and decisions that he made, and played the position a lot like a point guard in terms of, how he distributed the ball in the right places to the right people at the right time and very accurately. He's got all the right stuff when it comes to the kind of competitor he is, the kind of preparation that he does, the work ethic that he has to continue to try to improve. So I can't say enough good things about the kind of player he was in high school and his attitude about how he's developed, as a college player. Will Anderson, we thought for us, because we play a 3-4, was a perfect fit, for the outside linebacker position, which, if you don't play a 3-4, some of those guys have to become defensive ends or they have to become stand-up inside stack backers. So guys like Will Anderson can make a tremendous impact on our team. And he was an outstanding player in high school. But here's another guy that has A+ character, A+ work ethic, really good leadership qualities in terms of the example that he sets and how he impacts and affects other people in a positive way. And he's also a hard worker and a guy that's driven, every day to try to improve and be the best player that he can be. So you're talking about talented guys that have all the right stuff to develop their talent to be the best that they can be. And these guys have tremendous pride in performance. And I could never been happier with two guys in terms of what they mean to the program, how they've represented the program, what they've done to impact the people around them in the program.
Front row coach left.
Hey, Coach. Steve Moulton, WZZN out of Huntsville. I was wondering if you could comment on the secondary play, especially Kool-Aid, Kyrie, and what Eli Ricks brings to the table as well for you, Coach.
Well, I think that's a work in progress. Kool-Aid has been injured. Kyrie was injured. So those guys have had limited work from spring practice, until now. Eli Ricks is a guy that started in this league, and he has to, sort of prove that he has a good understanding of what we want him to do and how we want him to do it and why it's important to do it that way. But I do think that those three guys' development is going to be critical to, the success of our team. And I'm not disappointed in where they are right now, but I do think we need to continue to make progress at that position if we're going to get the kind of consistency and performance that we need to do the things that we'd like to do defensively.
Front row coach to your right. Go ahead.
Hi, Coach. I'm Dick Cox with Indy Sports and Cox Sports Broadcasting. Coach, if somebody did not know anything at all about Nick Saban, what would be the most important thing you would want them to know?
How well I clean house. I've been cleaning house, on vacation. I get a list every day. I try to play golf in the morning. Miss Terry gives me a list when I get back, and run the sweeper, take out the garbage, pledge the refrigerator. Nobody knows how well I do all those things.
On the left, coach, back row.
Good morning, Coach. Jacob Goins from ESPN 1067 in Auburn. You have Bryce Young coming back after winning the Heisman Trophy last year, but of course falling short in the national championship game. What do you expect to see different from Bryce Young from last year to this year on the field?
I don't really expect anything in terms of what I want to see differently. I want Bryce to maintain the right mindset in terms of, how he prepares, how he practices, how he impacts the players around him, because that will have a significant impact on how well he can play, because, quarterback is a difficult position to play if the players around you don't play well, whether it's the receivers, the offensive line, the ability to run the ball, create balance. I just want Bryce to just stay in the right mindset of what he needs to do to be the best player that he can be, and to be forward thinking in terms of the things that he needs to do to make the progress to create value for himself. Because I'm sure that, Bryce would love to be a quarterback in the National Football League, and I think, how he does this year will, have a significant impact on, that part of how he develops his career. And we certainly want to do everything that we can to enhance that and help him, develop the skill set and the people around him to be able to have the kind of production that will enhance his opportunities in the future.
Coach, to your right, second row.
Hi, Coach. Michael Giddens with the Warpar Auburn. The SEC West has amassed some of the best coaches in the country. Can you talk about what kinds of things you're doing as a coach to stay ahead of the curve, having to coach against so many good coaches week in and week out? And given some of the marquee moments the Iron Bowl has produced over the years, do you miss Gus Malzahn?
Look, I have a tremendous amount of respect for Gus. I thought Gus did a fantastic job, beat us, more than I'd like to remember, and did it because he was a great coach, a great play caller, has made a significant impact on the game of college football in terms of some of the things that he's implemented through the years. So I have a tremendous amount of respect for Gus. Yeah, the Iron Bowl is crazy. It was a crazy game last year. Bryce did a great job in the last drive to be able to tie the game. And I think the most important thing was the 2 sacks that he didn't take and got rid of the ball so he didn't get sacked because we didn't have any timeouts. And people sometimes don't realize that. They look at the completions, whether it's 4th down, 3rd down, touchdown pass, whatever. I think it's one of the greatest games in college football, and one of the most difficult places to play when we go there and play it. So I have a lot of respect for the program and the people in it, and know that we really have to continue to hire good coaches, have great energy and enthusiasm in what we do to make changes that is going to help us, not really stay ahead of the curve, but just be able to understand things that people are doing in the game, so that we put our players in the best position to be able to have a chance to be successful when they go out on the field and compete against it.
2 questions left. First to your second row on the left.
Hey, Nick. John Sokoloff with WCBI TV in Columbus, Mississippi. You keep harping on the competitive balance that's necessary for the NIL, and Lane Kiffin yesterday mentioned that he thinks that there should be a salary cap for the NIL and that would help. What do you think of that idea?
I don't know what are the best guidelines for us to have to create the competitive balance, and I don't know where it needs to come from. I think if the NCAA is going to be able to implement their rules, they need some kind of protection from litigation, because right now I think they have a difficult time implementing rules because of lawsuits. And so there may need to be something bigger than that, whether it's done at the federal level or however it is, to sort of create some guidelines for how we manage moving forward the future of college football. I don't necessarily have the answers. I don't know if that's the answer, but I have a lot of respect for Lane. He does a great job. He's a good coach. He did a great job for us, but I don't really know what the answers are. But I do think we have a lot of people working on things that can protect the integrity of competitive balance in the future of college football.
Okay, that's a little bit of what went on earlier today with Nick Saban. Obviously, when he speaks, everybody in the football world listens. So we're going to take the entire next segment and get Watson to comment on some of the things that Nick Saban brought up. But Billy, what do you got for us?
George, we've got to do this outro here for Alabama. Of course, we're talking the Tide. Larry Maynard at Allstate
knows many local families. His knowledge and understanding of the people in this community helps him provide customers with an outstanding level of service. For more info on Larry Maynard at Allstate, call him at 615-452-1500.
Stick around. This next segment is going to be very interesting as Watson comments on Nick Saban's comments. This is Main Street Media Television.
How do you measure success? In points? In wins? Or trophies? At Shelter Insurance, we measure success in the quality of our products and services, in our community support, in being there when you need us most. We're your shield. We're your shelter.
For auto, home, life, or business insurance, see agents Jim Pratt or Heather Clifton in Dixon.
At Porter Brothers LLC, we look forward to discussing your plans, resolving concerns, and making improvements to the comfort, health, and efficiency of your home. With the right system operating at its best, you save money, better enjoy the living environment, and increase the value of your investment. We handle all makes and models for seasonal HVAC maintenance and repairs and offer free estimates on replacements. Call us today at 615-446-8067, 615-446-8067.
Serving Williamson and surrounding counties, Bone and Joint Institute of Tennessee offers comprehensive orthopedic care with 16 subspecialized physicians. Our practice provides high-tech care with a hometown touch. We offer physician clinics, physical and occupational therapy, advanced imaging, and surgical services, including interventional procedures. Call us at 615-791-2630. We're Bone and Joint Institute of Tennessee. High-tech care with a hometown touch.
As a two-term county commissioner, we built the County Justice Center and the Burns Middle School, all while maintaining a budget surplus. We were able to secure additional funding for all of the volunteer fire departments to get the vital equipment that they need to do their job. I fought on the front lines in Iraq. With your vote, I'll fight on the front lines in our community to give you a voice. Let's do this together.
Paid for by Jeff Eby for State Representative, District 69.
Area 51 Tech Solutions is focused on expert service with quality parts at an affordable price. Their passion is custom-built gaming desktop computers, virtual reality setups, and gadgets, but they also specialize in servicing and repairing all major brands of electronics, including computers, tablets, cell phones, HD TVs, and game consoles. Based in Dixon, they service Middle Tennessee from Clarksville to Murfreesboro and Portland to Columbia. Call them today at 615-379-8113 or visit area51tex.com.
When you think about buying a new or pre-owned car, you might immediately feel anxious about pushy sales staff and being forced into a decision that might not be the right one for you. Our team at Steve Jones Automotive in Dixon is nothing like that. We want to help you find the perfect car, not just the first car you test drive. When you visit our dealership, you'll also see the pricing up front without having to haggle or ask for a special discount. We want to earn your business for life. Come experience the progressive car buying experience with no pressure at Steve Jones Automotive in Dixon, Tennessee, just a short drive from Nashville and the surrounding area.
Founded in 2005, Pamela Witt, First Lending Solutions, has a reputation of consistently offering the lowest possible rates and, above all, providing outstanding customer service. Pamela Witt, First Lending Solutions, takes pride in treating our clients with honesty and integrity. We provide excellent service and experience you can trust for all your mortgage needs, proudly serving all of Tennessee. Apply today. Call Pamela Witt, First Lending Solutions, 858-518-1506, or online at www.firstlendingonline.com.
NMLS number 314276, ID 135932.
You're back. College Football Hall of Fame down in Atlanta. Let's bring Watson Brown front and center stage. Watson, for the second year in a row, Nick Saban had no trouble giving us financial numbers. A year ago, he said Bryce Young was making almost $1 million before he ever played a game. And today he threw out the over $3 million payroll of NIL at Alabama. To the bitter end, he's willing to recruit.
Well, to me, George, right there is the issue. Lane Kiffin said something that I think is the right direction to head. What do they do in the NFL? When you are signed coming out of college as a drafted kid, there's just a certain height your money can go. And I just believe that's the direction I think they're going to have to go, because if you don't, this money is just going to keep going up. It's just a bidding war. And you can't just keep bidding, because only certain schools, he's talking about creating where it's fair to everybody. That's not a way to make it fair. And when A&M can throw this kind of money around with some of their supporters, and then Alabama can match that, then all of a sudden LSU can't touch that anymore. That's where, to me, you got to start. I'm not so sure there shouldn't be some form of a cap that this is as high as it can go. Nick didn't back what Lane said. Lane, again, was stronger than me about it. But he also didn't say that it wouldn't be something we need to look at. They've got to stop the amount at some point, or it's just going to keep going, which I think is crazy. The NFL kids can't do that.
Watson, I'm not going to sit here and act like you don't have better info about this kind of stuff than I do. So here's why I'm asking the question. When he threw out the number today, over 3 million, does that sound like kind of the going rate of, let's say, the top 25 schools in America?
I don't know. I don't know any more than you do with that. These coaches aren't willing to say what a certain kid is making. They'll get general sometimes, George, but they won't get specific. We had my own brother on. He wouldn't go there in any shape, form, or fashion. So I just think it's going to be hard. I'm sure there's some way you can go through the state, there's got to be some way we can find out. But I don't think you're going to find it out through the coaches. Now, they'll be general like Nick was, but he's not specific. And does it make sense to you what I'm saying? I mean, if it doesn't, this thing is just going to keep rising. And these college kids may be making more than the NFL kids in time, George. I mean, they may take a pay cut when they're drafted into the NFL.
Look, you and I both know that in this particular deal, Kiffin told the truth. You got to have a salary cap. There has got to be some semblance of control. This is completely wacko. And the other thing I thought Saban said that was right is the NCAA is scared to death right now of getting sued. And that has made them virtually useless, virtually powerless. It's the truth.
You're dead on. You're dead on. The NC2A is not lazy and throwing their hands up in the air, in my opinion. They created this problem by jumping at it too quick because Congress said the kids can blah, blah, blah. And then the NC2A just opens it up instead of studying it a little bit as you go. And they just threw it wide open. You and I both said immediately, Wild, Wild West, here we come. Well, that's what it is. And yeah. I just think it starts at the top. I would look at the NFL. They've been through all this. They have set different guidelines in the way they go about it. See, I'm not so sure, George, that right now a kid can make $3 million at Alabama and then leave in 6 months. In the NFL, you can't do that. You're under contract for 2 years. Now, after that 2 years is over and you become a free agent, you go anywhere you want. I'm not so sure if you're signed on the NIL, then you ought to have, you're under contract for 2 years and you can't leave for 2 years before you transfer to another school. The NFL has done all this for years. The NC2A and college football is doing it for the first time. I believe I would look at the NFL if I was college football.
Billy, you're the young gun on this show, so I want to give you an economics lesson. You ready?
I'm ready.
When Uncle Nick comes to see you, Billy the Booster, here's what he's looking for. He's going to start with $250,000 for the Tide Pride Club. Okay. Then he's going to ask you for season ticket money. He'll ask you for a nice donation for your parking pass. And then, oh, by the way, if you don't mind kicking in, let's say 75 to 100 grand for our NIL scholarship fund. Watson, can you imagine how much fun George Bennett would have had if they'd had NIL at Clemson?
Oh, gracious sakes. George would have figured it out. I can promise you that.
You better believe he would.
As there ever was. But you're right on again. And remember what I said about what the AD at Ole Miss said. Was it yesterday or the day before? I read it. I don't know how many days back. He said, we've had to stop the process with the stadium because a lot of this money now basically is having to go to the NIL. I mean, it's in some ways it's comical. It's great for the kids. Some of these kids are making money like they've never made in their lives. Now, not everybody, but where I think Nick is coming from, that I 100% agree, that it's not fair to everybody unless you're in these top level schools with all this money. They can't afford to do this. So therefore they're out. They're out on all the kids on that level, drops you down to another level you have to recruit to. And now, is that fair? I don't know if there'll ever be any balance in college football. Somebody might say there's no balance in college football right now. Alabama's there every year as it is. Anyway, they're in the playoffs every year. Clemson most of the time has been. But that's where I think he's coming from, that there's certain schools that can't afford that. I'm talking about Power 5 schools. I'm talking about SEC schools that might not be able to stay up there with the top dogs guys, and therefore the talent level keeps lowering a little bit more, and all of a sudden you've got 5 or 6 schools in the SEC that are really good, and then you've got 8 or 10 that aren't. And that's where I think Nick is coming from without explaining himself. I may be wrong, but that's the way I took it.
Billy, before you ask this, you remember you heard this. There will be a press conference in the next year or two at SEC Media Days where a quarterback is going to say, I can't afford to go to the NFL. I can't take the pay cut.
There's no doubt. That's going to happen.
It won't get to that.
Come on. It was funny.
What are they making? What is the first round, those top 3 or 4 guys making? Do you know, George, Billy? What is their, there's a framework in the NFL.
It's not like Major League Baseball where there's a slot value for these guys. But
right.
I mean, on average, first round draft pick, what's that rookie contract?
That's what I'm asking.
It's not.
No, it's good. Is
it 10 million? Is it 6 million?
Is it? I think it would be close to that.
It's the ballpark of 5 to 15 million, right? I mean,
yeah. So you've got.
I don't know, but watch it as this grows. If they don't get some kind of cap, and the Bryce Young comes out and he's making 10 million, and he's making 10 million for 3 years, and then all of a sudden he's drafted. And he knows he's going into his 4th year. Does he come out or not? A lot of these kids may end up staying in college and not come out. Guys, especially the 3rd rounders, 4th rounders, some of those guys that might be making those big bucks at their university, but they're going to be a 2nd, 3rd rounder where now that money's less. It might keep them in college longer.
Okay, we need a 1-minute question and answer here.
All right, real quick, Watson. I'm shocked to the extent of how crazy this is, how Wild West type this is right now. I mean, I knew this would happen, but I'm still surprised about how bad this is right now. So initially when this started, what do you think the goal of college football, whoever, created this idea of NIL, transfer portal? Do you think they had this in mind? I mean, did they expect it to be this wild?
When it went into place by the NC2A, I can see these coaches, alums, big money donors immediately. Here's what we got to do. Yes, sir. It's all started from Congress through the NC2A saying these players deserve to make money. But I blame the NC2A. As George has heard me, I've blamed them now for 2 years. I blame them. They had no idea. They said, okay, go for it. Do what you want. And without any thought process, Billy, behind it. And now we're paying for it, in my opinion. And it's got to be under control. Did anybody listen to Mike Leach? I know we got to go, George.
We're going to get
today.
Yeah, we're going to get to Mike Leach, but okay. George is writing something.
Give your money.
Mike said, get out of Congress. Congress don't do anything. Let us coaches do it. That's what Mike said.
The key phrase today is Tide Pride. That's where your money goes. Okay, we'll go to the break, and when we come back, a pathetic performance yesterday for Stat of the Day. I was embarrassed. Watson, we were pathetic.
Well, Billy could have helped us.
Well,
he could have said, guys, kind of look in your own backyard here in the SEC.
But he didn't do. He did not do that.
Out to dry.
He did. We'll hang him out to dry.
And he's sitting there giggling. He's giggling. One of these guys is one of my good friends, Philip Fulmer. I mean, he's sitting there giggling.
Hey,
we'll hang him out to dry.
You can't put this on me. You cannot.
We'll hang him out to dry when we come back. You're watching Main Street Media Television.
How do you measure success? In points? In wins? Or trophies? At Shelter Insurance, we measure success in the quality of our products and services, in our community support, in being there when you need us most. We're your shield. We're your shelter.
For auto, home, life, or business insurance, see agents Jim Pratt or Heather Clifton in Dixon.
Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net.
Don't overpay for your next home entertainment system. Visit the folks that have been selling, installing, and repairing TVs, stereos, and more for the last 40 years. Denton's, the TV store in Dixon, has the largest selection of high-end TVs on display. Denton's specializes in professionally designed unique TV, audio, and video systems for the whole house, man cave, or outdoor space. Stop by in the Dixon Plaza across from Kroger or call 615-446-2222. Denton's, the TV store. It's in the name.
At Redbird Realty, we are committed to providing you with the highest quality service in not only finding your cherished home, but also a wise investment. With over 27 years experience in the real estate industry, we offer high quality service and we treat our clients the way that we would like to be treated. When you're ready, we would appreciate the opportunity to learn more about your real estate needs and answer any questions you may have. Call us at 615-476-2879. 615-476-2879.
With 14 locations across Tennessee, family-owned Fast Stop Markets knows you need simple. The one-stop shop for fuel, food, and more now offers Fast Stop Perks, an easy-to-sign-up rewards program that turns your purchases into points that you can spend like cash. You can also win prizes, join clubs, and save big. Get your Fast Stop Perks card at checkout or download the Fast Stop Perks app to start earning your points today. Fast Stop Markets, keeping you moving.
C&K Forklift Repair understands that a non-working forklift puts a hold on your team's ability to do its job. Our certified technicians work quickly and efficiently 24 hours a day to repair and provide maintenance on your forklift using only high-quality replacement parts. With over 15 years' experience, C&K Forklift Repair also provides training and instruction for forklift operators covering all of Middle Tennessee, Southern Kentucky, and Northern Alabama. Give us a call, 615-651-2735.
State Farm Agency Micah Blunt is proud to bring you live coverage from SEC Media Days. Micah was born and raised in Tennessee and takes pride in providing the highest degree of protection for all customers. State Farm offers auto, home, and life insurance at the price you can afford. Located in Dixon, Tennessee, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Give Micah and his team a call today to help with all of your insurance needs. serving all of Tennessee. Call 615-229-2999. That's 615-229-2999.
Okay, let's end the hour. God knows we have got to do better, Watson, than we have been doing. It's a team effort, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes.
I don't want to be the only idiot in the group. There needs to be two of us.
Okay, let's go plural here. We suck.
We suck.
Okay, you ready to pull this up? Let's see what we got.
All right, George, today's stat of the day presented by John English Vintage Sports and Cards. They specialize in antique and historical sports equipment, games, advertising, and other sport-related items. You can visit John English Sports and Cards in Shelbyville, Tennessee, open Tuesdays through Fridays from noon to 5 o'clock and Saturdays from 10 a.m. to 5. Visit JohnEnglishGradedCards.com. Question is, who are the top 5 colleges with the most first-round NFL draft picks? Draft picks. Ever. The top 5 colleges with the most first-round NFL draft picks.
Watson and I are going to debate this out loud. You do not step in and stop the process.
I'm going to let it play out.
Yeah. Watson, are we in agreement? Alabama is one of them.
They got to be.
Okay. Are we correct about that one?
You're correct.
Okay. So we are
one down.
Using BGA math, we have gotten 20% of what needs to be gotten. Watson, would we think Southern Cal is one of those?
Yes.
That is correct.
We're going Southern Cal.
2 for 2.
Man, we are 40% of the way. Hot diggity dog. Watson, this is one that I guess is debatable. Do you think Notre Dame's on that list?
Yes.
We're going Notre Dame.
Oh, 3 for 3.
Oh, yeah. We are cooking with gas, baby. Watson, would Oklahoma be on that list? Think of the Selman brothers and
Oklahoma,
Billy
Texas.
Sims.
Which do you think, it's Oklahoma or Texas?
Let's go Texas, because that was going to be my next one to you.
Nope. No Texas. You're still 3 for 3, though, George. I'll give you a hint.
Wow.
The final two. The final two. One's in the South, one's in the North.
One is in the South, one is in the North. Okay, we got to go. Watson, don't we have to go Ohio State?
Yeah, Ohio State or Michigan, and I would pick Ohio State.
That is correct. You're 4 for 4.
Oh, we are cooking with gas, even if we've cheated a little
One
bit.
more team.
Is it Georgia or Florida? Wouldn't it be one?
Okay.
He said it's in the South.
Watson, in
the South, in the
recent
deep
years, the deep South.
Deep
Watson, in recent years,
couldn't be Florida State, could it? They hadn't been good enough long enough.
It's on the tip of your tongue. You've mentioned 2 teams that are in the same state.
Watson,
I'll go Florida. I think it's Florida over Georgia.
George, what's yours?
I don't think Florida had that many in the
Florida's
earlier
been good
years.
now a long time.
Florida.
It's Florida or Georgia. It's one of the two.
This is gonna kill you guys. Final team was Miami.
Oh my God.
Oh God.
The Catholics versus the convicts.
I couldn't give you any more hints.
No, but we got 80% of it, Watson. That's, I think, a respectable showing on our end.
Yeah, I just didn't think Miami had been good enough long enough. Huh.
Hey, Watson, before we start the hour, there's a younger audience that has no idea what that means. IPTAY. IPTAY was George Bennett's creation at Clemson, and back then it was I pay $10 a year. Watson, now the T would be for thousands.
Yeah. 10 wouldn't get you into the front door of the offices.
No. I hope George Bennett is watching. I hope he's getting a kick out of this. Okay, we start the second hour with a little discussion of Vanderbilt. Clark Lea went to the podium after Nick Saban. This just in. It was not quite as large a crowd when Clark got there. He threw out
That's
the
not
word,
fair to Clark now.
No, I
That
know
would
it
be
isn't.
anybody compared to Nick
Oh,
Saban.
absolutely, and I don't mean it that way. He threw out the words national championship, and I'm going to want to talk to you about that later. But in the film, in the tape that we're about to see, it gets more down to where they are and what they've got. So let's listen into Clark Lea.
Mike started his press conference talking about his suit and who he's wearing. How valuable is having that kind of personality leading the team? And do you want to say who you're wearing?
This suit is from ESQ. My friend Guy in Chicago sets me up. Mike is he's a dynamic person. He's a good person. He's got that depth of personality and toughness required to take ownership and take leadership. And keep in mind too, is he has to earn that position every day. There's no guarantees given, and he knows that. But a year ago, it was Ken that had the job, and the tough conversation was with Mike, and his persistence through that frustration. Those moments are formative. It's adversity that he had to fight through. And on the back end of that, there was some self-discovery that took place, and we're fortunate to have him part of our program. And certainly, he's got, again, the personality to really connect and drive the team forward. So we're glad to have him in that role.
On your left, second row.
Hey, Coach. Billy Derrick from Main Street Media and the Door Report in Nashville. With Barton Simmons by your side, of course, one of your lifelong friends, how would you describe your program's approach to recruiting as a whole?
Well, first of all, I'm fortunate to have Barton with me, and I obviously as the head coach, I think I've got just a really smart tactician that has a great perspective on evaluation and projecting skills forward. I mean, he's exceptional that way. He can be contrarian in thought, meaning he likes taking the opposite approach or opposite opinion. And I think that's so valuable in an office setting, that we just don't co-sign on each other. He's a real value add. I think on a personal level, I get to have one of my closest friends with me every day, fighting to build the program together in a city that we love, that we grew up in, and that's certainly special. Our recruiting approach obviously is defined first of all by our identity, at Vanderbilt, and we want to be really disciplined to stay true to that identity. And that doesn't mean that we only go out and recruit valedictorians or anything like that. We want to get people with diversity of experience, diversity of background. The common thread needs to be, at some level, an understanding of how important education is, and that'll be a part of their experience at Vanderbilt, a necessary part. Beyond that, we're looking for measurable traits. We want to know more about the players that we bring into our program, certainly than we don't know. And so when you talk about length and speed and range and production, we kind of bottle all that up to create a metric for our program that gives us the opportunity to project success moving forward. So it's a I would say a scientific based. We want to be numbers driven, and also define the personality fit. The people out there, the young people out there that are looking for a substantive experience. Those are all parts of our recruiting formula.
Coach, you returned some experience on the defensive line, specifically Malik Lingham and Davion Davis. What do you expect to see from them this year, and what will their role be?
Well, the roles yet to define themselves. That'll be decided through fall camp. We want to be a competition-based program where our guys have to earn it every day. And so Davion's coming off an injury. He's still recovering. We're excited to get him back full tilt. He is a heartbeat of our program. He was with me a year ago in Birmingham. He's a leader for us, was a captain. We have the highest regard for him as a person and player, and excited for him to come back. I know he's energized. I think the word I'd use is, as far as expectations of them both, is development, and I think that's necessary, right? We don't look at our season a year ago, maybe we saw flashes of production and success, but we know we have to get better. That includes, two of our, more experienced or seasoned players. With Malik, he's got the physical tools needed to be a dominant force. He's shown flashes of that last season. We have to get him to a level of consistency where he can come out and be the player that we know he can be. Again, you got a big heart there, a great kid and a valued member of our program that we need to help guide into consistency. And he's had a good summer, but we're excited for fall camp to be another test for him. And Coach Black has come in and done a great job with those guys in the defensive line, and I'm excited to see Coach's personality shine through on the field as well.
Here in the front row, Coach.
Coach, I've had the opportunity of asking several of the other coaches and players this question too, and gotten a variety of answers. But what is the most important thing that you would want people to know about you?
Oh, that I'm a husband and father first, and I think those are important qualities because, when in my role as head coach, I'm parenting right now 108, sons, and that kind of helps me gain perspective every day, and part of loving a team is understanding that accountability is important, that sometimes it's a swift redirection or a firm conversation, but we're gonna have fun competing together. We're gonna have fun in shared sacrifice and suffering. We're gonna approach our work with enthusiasm and spirit, and I'd like to think that's the same way I parent. But those are the defining qualities to me, and I think as I became a husband and became a father in my career, I noticed some internal shifts for me as a coach that just allow me to move forward with a little bigger picture perspective. And I can't lose that in my job, even though it's easy to sometimes. I think we always have to stay tethered to the people that we're aspiring to be, and make choices and behaviors and attitudes that help to actualize that.
Two final questions, the fourth row here.
You guys play week 0. How urgent is it to be ready to go right away? And then also, what would a successful season look like to you?
Week 0 is a challenge. Week 0 at Hawaii is a double challenge, right? So, we have a lot of work to do, and to use your word, urgent work, to make sure that we're ready when that ball is put down on a tee. And I think when you play week 0 and when you're traveling a long distance, there are a lot of things that go into performance in that game that go beyond your skill sets. And so, this next month is going to be huge for us. And yet, our season isn't just that one game. We want it to be the starting point from which we learn and grow and develop each week. As far as success goes for our season, we have one objective this fall, and that's to play at our highest level as a team, and that's it. And so we talk a lot about what that's going to look like. That's not just something that we, a phrase that we throw out, but we talk about what that looks like both in performance, what it looks like in preparation. Each unit has a tangible example of how this plays out day in and day out. And we believe that if we can reach that level of performance and then replicate it, so have enough ownership over it to replicate it, that we're going to see a shift in results. And we know if we don't take total ownership of our performance and all the things that we control within that performance, then every Saturday we're playing against two teams, the one across the field and the one that's on our sideline. And that's not a winning formula for anyone, but certainly not for a program that's in the early stages of a build. So we're going to be focused on us, and success is going to be when we feel like we're playing true to our identity, and we're playing together and playing hard and reaching that level of performance where we feel like we've maximized our potential.
Okay, so Watson, there were a lot of things thrown out there, but I thought the lady who asked the question near the very end about what would a successful season look like, if you were answering that, what would your answer have been?
Probably back in 1986, 87, when I was exactly where he is right now. I would say the best we can possibly play is all I can ask for. I don't think I would have gone at a record. I don't think I would have done that, a season's record. I think I'd say, and that's kind of what he said, George. He said, we can't possibly, what he was saying is, we can't possibly beat some of these teams if we don't play to the best of our ability. If we go out there and mess it up, we got no chance. And I thought that was where he's coming from, and I think that's a great way to approach it.
Watson, I don't truly believe that this is a team with a lot of confidence. They've gotten their brains beat in now for a couple of years. With that in mind, how important is it that they go to Hawaii and whether they win or lose, at least have some things happen that they can say, wait a minute, this is different than a year ago? Yeah,
this isn't a great start other than a great time. They'll have a great time. We played in the Hawaii Bowl when I was at UAB, and it is an unbelievable. I'm sure they'll go some days early. I've been to many bowls, George. It's by far the best one that I've ever been to, and it's a trip we all will never forget. Other than that, I don't think this is a great game. I don't like their non-conference schedule. Wake Forest is very good. They can handle Elon, and then they go to Northern Illinois. Vanderbilt does not need to be going to Northern Illinois. I don't get it. I don't know what AD put that on there. This home and home with a MAC school. There's got to be other ways. Buy the MAC school. Bring them to you, but don't have the return game. The reason you do those home and homes is you don't have to pay as much money to get them. Vanderbilt's got to get out of that. They got to start taking some of that money they're bringing in and play Northern Illinois at home, and then they're gone. And then you bring in Akron the next year at home, and you don't make that road trip. They got 2 road games out of their 4 non-conference, uncalled for. You shouldn't ever have in the SEC over 1 road game. And that could be Hawaii this year. That could have been that game. And then Wake Forest is very good, even though they're playing them at home. That's a tough opponent.
Well, you're absolutely right. It's stupid to be going to Northern Illinois. When I was the broadcaster, we went back-to-back weeks to Northern Illinois and to North Texas. And I was like, you have got to be kidding me. This is an SEC school doing this. So I think –
that's image, George.
Sure it is.
That's image. That's also image to me. Vanderbilt football players don't need to be going to Northern Illinois. That's no disrespect to Northern Illinois. They've been a very good MAC team. I just think that you need to stay on your level of when you hit the road. At home, it's fine who you play, but on the road, you need to stay in your level.
Now, the quarterback position, Clark Lea talked about it a little bit in this film and also later on. You've got Mike Wright, who came out of spring listed as the starter. I'm not convinced that he's an NCAA Division I thrower. I didn't see anything a year ago that brought me to that conclusion, but I will say this. He can talk with the best of them. Listen in.
I'm Mike Wright, quarterback at Vanderbilt University. And just my opening remark, it doesn't have anything to do with football. It just has to do with what I'm wearing, all right? I'm a big fashion guy, so I'm wearing Miguel Wilson today, all right? #1 suit maker in the world, in the planet, all right? So if you need a custom suit, go to him, and I'm big on fashion. So the Vanderbilt's coming out, so everybody get your feet in the ground. All right, so look, we got a Hercules beetle right here, okay? A Hercules beetle, interesting fact, can carry 800 times its weight, all right? Hercules beetle. And so right now I'm here representing 110 guys on my team, representing, my entire institution, organization back home. So today I got to be a Hercules beetle. Besides that, I'm all energy, all good. I'm just excited to be here, and I'm glad. I wish I could take a picture with each and every one of you because I love taking pictures, but I don't know if we got enough time for all that. So I wish I could meet you guys, but hey, we'll figure it out.
Is this your personality, or is this kind of an NIL thing?
Oh, no. This is me, and I can't hide it either. I've been trying to contain myself all day long, but I'm a high-energy guy. I have enough energy from everybody in this room and everybody back home. So just so I am, I will wear a suit to Waffle House if I have to. I mean, this is just who I am. I think it's in me and won't leave either.
I wanted to know, what did you learn from being at the Manning Passing Academy, and what did you do well last season?
Oh, yeah. So MPA is an amazing opportunity for me. Every single one of the Mannings was hands-on. You're with college guys and quarterbacks from all over the country, and it was just an amazing opportunity. I know we're in a group chat right now. All the college guys are in a group chat, and we're all going through pretty much the same thing. There hasn't been a situation that either one of us haven't, figured out yet. So that level of communication is always there. We're in a group chat every day. I was roomed with Hendon Hooker from the Orange School, so I think Peyton did that on purpose and, just to throw a little jab. But it was fun. I learned a lot. And as far as just what I learned for me, it was just, just being able, just getting throws out, just throwing the ball, letting them clean up anything that they see. And it was just having fun. It was a fun and tremendous opportunity. And if any college guys have an opportunity to go out there and do it, do it. Don't hesitate, because you learn so much. You're having a great time.
So if this quarterback thing doesn't work out, he may end up at Main Street Media before it's all over. He is a really good talker.
No,
Very
he's good.
impressive.
Watson, what did you think about the Manning Passing Academy? I mean, how much impact does that hold? Is that just a camp that anybody gets invited to, or does that hold some weight for Mike Wright?
I don't know about holding weight, Billy. I think it's really good, though. I think the guys that I've known that have gone to that come back with confidence. And I think the confidence is just, there's a lot of guys teaching you and helping you, but the confidence in the three Mannings alone, I mean, my gracious. Archie is just a little older than me. Was at Ole Miss. I think he was a senior when I was a sophomore, or maybe he was a junior. He's maybe 1 year ahead of me. And then, of course, Peyton, Eli are just great players in college football and the NFL. So when they tell you something, and if you listen good and you try to do what they say and put it into your game, if you want to say that, Billy, I think it's fantastic. I would never stop a kid from being invited to that or wanting to go to that.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of these coaches don't want somebody messing with my quarterback. I don't feel that way about guys that have been there like these guys.
Yeah.
Watson, let's grade Billy since he hung us out to dry yesterday. Why don't we just grade this little read he's going to do?
Okay.
Here we go. Sumner Funeral and Cremation sponsors Vanderbilt, sharing their family with yours in your time of need. Now with 2 convenient locations in Gallatin and Hendersonville, and online at sumnerfuneral.com. Sumner Funeral and Cremation, traditional, affordable, and dignified.
I give it a C-.
I give him an A reluctantly. Yeah, I give him. I'm going to be fair and give him an A, even though I'd like to give him a C- after he hung us out to dry.
C- for me was some of the best stuff I ever had. That kept me out of summer school a couple of times. The SEC maybe funniest coach hit the podium late this afternoon. That would be Mike Leach from Mississippi State. He's coming up next on Main Street Media Television.
Buying or selling a home can be a very personal experience. Why not go with the team that receives nearly all of their business from referrals? Clearly a trusted name in real estate. The Justin Tucker team with Platinum Realty Partners has sold more than 500 homes in the last 7 years. Voted best in Sumner County multiple times. Proven to be trusted with your most personal assets. Call the Justin Tucker team with Platinum Realty Partners at 615-906-8458. The Justin Tucker team with Platinum Realty Partners, Middle Tennessee's most trusted team in
I highly recommend Sumner Funeral and Cremation because of their caring nature and attentiveness to detail.
Pre-planning your funeral now will bring you peace of mind and less stress to your loved ones. When the chaos of losing you happens, your family can honor and celebrate your life, knowing things are happening just as you wanted them to. Pre-planning determines the details of your funeral, cemetery services, and can be less expensive. We are honored to serve you and are always here for you in your time of need.
Sumner Funeral and Cremation. Traditional, affordable, dignified. SumnerFuneral.com.
Jody Jones Dentistry can handle all your dental needs, from the basics to cosmetic procedures. All of this in the nicest dental facility I have ever seen. Jody has done it right. They're located conveniently at 55 Music Square East, and for an appointment, it's simple. Dial 615-259-5100 and tell them Plaz sent you. When you're thinking about golf, consider Riverside Golf Links. Under new ownership, the course has improved dramatically. It's now 27 holes, complemented by a 9-hole executive course. Book a tee time now at 615-847-5074 and get ready to enjoy the beauty of golf in the Old Hickory area at Riverside Golf Links.
At WellSkin Dermatology and Aesthetics, we pride ourselves in providing access, innovation, and a patient experience second to none. Access to care and treatment when you need it. Innovation with medical-led cosmetics and various on-site technologies for full-service treatments with a customer experience that is calming, casual, and effective. Independently owned, providing medical, surgical, pediatric, and cosmetic dermatology and more. Visit wellskinmd.com to schedule your appointment today. WellSkin Dermatology and Aesthetics. Access to healthier skin.
Hey everyone, I'm John English. This is Keith Wallace, and we would like to welcome you to John English Antique Sports and Cards in Shelbyville, Tennessee. We specialize in graded and ungraded sports and non-sports card, vintage wax boxes, and unopened cases. We have a large selection of PSA graded cards. We also specialize in old sports collectibles, baseball, football, basketball, golf, and tennis. You can find it all at John English Antique Sports and Cards. We are happy to be associated with Nashville's greatest sports antique, George Plaster.
Have you heard about the high levels of radon in Middle Tennessee? Radon gas is the second leading cause of lung cancer, second only to smoking, and has no color, no taste, and no smell. The only way to know if you have radon is to test for it. Duret Radon Mitigation offers testing for small and large-scale residential and commercial properties, plus mitigation services. Visit DuretRadonMitigation.com to request testing or get a free estimate for mitigation. That's DuretRadonMitigation.com.
That is us. We're going to talk a little Mississippi State football in a moment, but Watson, you know Mike Leach better than just about anybody in the profession. Lay it on us. What is he really like?
What you see is what you get. I'm telling you, if you're one-on-one at his house, that's what you get. That's Mike. There is no show in him. That's the way he talks to his players. That's the way he talks to professionally to coaches. I've listened to him at clinics before. That's the way he talks at clinics. I mean, I all I can tell you is every minute that you're with him, you go, huh? I mean, you'll giggle, but then you'll also say, did he really say that? What does he mean when he says that? I think Mike, I'll say this about Mike. He's very sharp. He's very sharp. He knows what he's doing, and I don't just mean football. He's a very smart man. And I think he's got a law degree. I'm pretty sure about that.
Watson, have you all ever sat down and X's, how do you say it, X's and O's together?
Not with him, but with his boss, Hal, I did a lot. I met Mike through Hal Mundy. And Hal and I have been very close friends, much longer than Mike and I. But I've never sit down just with Mike and one-on-one. We've been in groups and listened to things and both of us give our thoughts and that, George. But this guy is sharp as a tack. When I've been around him football-wise, I've gone to practices. His teaching skills taught me a lot. He is not complicated on a board with what he draws up on the board. How he teaches a route is magnificent. He's very precise, fundamental, teaches real little things that are not a lot of coaches teach within a pass pattern. That's what I would say about Mike Leach.
Weird ending to their season last year, a rematch, if you want to call it that, against his former school, Texas Tech, where things ended in big controversy, and they got ripped in the Liberty Bowl 34-7 in a game where I didn't think they played with a lot of zip. I didn't get it. I don't know if he had lost their locker room, but it was a bad bowl performance. Billy, what do you got on him?
George, Mike Leach was the way he talks. I feel like as he gets older, it takes him a lot longer to get to the point, and so you kind of you see that in this interview here, a little bit of that. But everything's funny. I mean, every question he creates some comedy out of every question. So he talks about some of the matchups that they had last year that they lost. They're trying to get back this year, and there's obviously some comedy. It's Mike Leach.
Okay, so do you have a sponsor for this?
I do, George, and you just reminded me.
Yes.
How about that?
You got to have those.
Got to have them, George.
We cannot come in here and ask George Bennett to raise money for our show. Although, Watson, if we did, by the way, he's watching. I know he's watching. So I hope he's having fun with us having a little fun with him.
George, we've got Tennessee Hardware. Tennessee Hardware is a family-owned Ace store. Of course, Tennessee for the last 45 years. So they are the Mississippi State sponsor. Got to get that up on the screen. Tennessee Ace Hardware, family-owned Ace store, serving Sumner County, Tennessee for the last 45 years. It is now time, George, for Mike Leach.
We caught you, didn't we?
You did, George.
Okay, let's hear from the Pirate.
Hester, by asking you this question, I've gotten a variety of answers today on this, though. Even Coach Saban shared his deepest thing, too. What is the most important thing you would want people to know about you? Coach Saban wanted us to know that he was a good sweeper and he did his housework for his wife and checked off the list, but what would be the most important thing that you would want people to know about you?
Wow. Shoot, there's some days I just assume they don't know anything, you know? Well, he's got housework covered, doesn't he? Well, I don't know. I don't have one. I would. Well, I guess curious about a lot of things, and then try to learn as much as you can in the process of that, you know. But you can't. You're not going to learn much unless you're curious. And then, and I say it some, I always try to remind myself it's what you learn after you know everything that counts, you know. So just constantly try to learn and improve. On your left, Coach, third row.
Brandon Adams from Dog Nation. You had a close battle with Georgia in 2020, and now you get a chance to host them this November. Do you have any early thoughts on facing UGA here this year?
No. I mean, we just have to improve as a team. We just got to keep, you know, get as good as we can, and then you go out there and play, you know. So, yeah, I mean, they're a good team, but, you know, and I know last year was their year, but, you know, they're in a line of good teams that we're going to play this year. On your right, third row.
Hey, Coach. Colin Wilson with the Action Network. I mentioned to Lane Kiffin that the FBS record for fourth down attempts was 46 and that he broke it last year with 49. Mississippi State went from 22 to 16 last year. So what is the rule of thinking on fourth downs? Is it trust the defense? Is it analytics, field position? Just want to know your thoughts on fourth downs.
Kind of all the above. Kind of all the above. In hindsight, I thought we should have gone for it on fourth down more. And it kind of depends where you're. I mean, there's a lot of things go into it. where are you at on the field? How's your defense playing? Do you have a beat on what they're going to do? Do you, your various players and matchups at that position? And then, what do you think your odds are? Shorter's not always better. Sometimes medium's better. There was a particular team back at Washington State where, I was more inclined to do it on third and long than, because you knew they were going to do some ridiculously deep shell coverage thing, and you could just throw it. All you had to do was play catch. So, yeah, it varies. Probably ought to be a little more aggressive with it. And, as historically, we were going for it on fourth before other folks but we didn't do a lot of it last year.
To your left, Coach, back row.
Dan Peck, ESPN 106.7 in Auburn. A couple of your players mentioned the significance of the come-from-behind win at Jordan-Hare Stadium last year, and even pointed out how confident the coaches remained throughout that game, even after Auburn jumped out to the big early lead. Your memories of that game and how your coaching staff stayed so confident even as Auburn amassed a big lead early.
We moved the ball really well. I don't remember all the details, but there wasn't a point where we felt like we weren't moving the ball well, despite the fact we didn't have hardly any points. And, we stall in the red zone or miss a kick. I think we turned it over once too. Anyway, and then, but we felt like, we just had to get in sync because they weren't stopping us. We just stopped ourselves. And our feeling was if we quit doing that, we could have a big half. I guess I didn't expect it to necessarily be as big as it was. But, sometimes it's, if you're too result determinative, you look out there and you say, well, we've got this many points, they got this many points, we're terrible. Well, we weren't terrible. The results weren't what we wanted to, and the results really didn't equal the quality that we were playing. We were playing at a pretty high quality, just, one mishap here, one mishap there, and the ball wasn't bouncing our way, and then you just have to ride that out and outlast it. We got momentum right before the half. We scored. And then, and so anyways, the second half was a great deal more fun than the first half, but the results, weren't any good, but we moved it well the first half.
So Watson, help me with him. He developed a philosophy of going for it a bunch on fourth down. What was his philosophy behind that?
When I've listened to him, he's always said, you don't get many opportunities down in this end. You don't need to give them up when you get them. And that was it. I think it is now being copied all over the place. And if I had any mistake that I made in my time, George, I think back about my Vanderbilt time, I would have been much more in that frame of mind. I was way too conservative in those type ways. And sometimes we'd end up losing 28-24, 35-31, high scoring games, but there's a loss. It didn't matter. After 2 or 3 days, it didn't matter that, we played Georgia really close. Yeah, it's still a loss by your name. So I think what he's done, when he was doing it before, I think most people, I saw where Lane Kiffin broke all the records last year at Ole Miss with the number of fourth downs he went for and all the NC2A records on that. You're going to see this more and more. They say it's analytics. I don't believe in analytics. I think exactly what the man talked about. Who's the guy across the way? Do you know what they're fixing to do? Those are the analytics. If you don't know what they do on their 3rd and 4s or 4th and 4s and have a real high percentage that you know this is what they're going to be in defensively, I'm not sure he would do it. But he's got his own analytics, in my opinion, where Lane talked about analytics. I'm more like Mike Leach. I would do my own analytics, and it's my guy against your guy. What are they going to play? How is my defense playing? How have we been on those 2nd and 3rd? And how have we been on 4 yards, 2nd and 4, 1st and 4, 1st and 4 from something that happened with a penalty, anything like that. But I would have done it a lot more, not just at Vanderbilt, but at UAB, as we started a program there from scratch. And so that's one of the regrets that I look back on, that I wish I'd been a little more like Mike.
Watson, hang with me, because when we come back, I tell you what we're going to do. I'm just going to kind of take what's gone on today here in Atlanta and fire a bunch of questions at you that I want the answers to. Fair enough?
Yeah. Let's go.
Okay. This is the George Plaster Show on Main Street Media Television.
How do you measure success? In points? In wins? Or trophies? At Shelter Insurance, we measure success in the quality of our products and services, in our community support, in being there when you need us most. We're your shield. We're your shelter.
For auto, home, life, or business insurance, see agents Jim Pratt or Heather Clifton in Dixon.
At Porter Brothers LLC, we look forward to discussing your plans, resolving concerns, and making improvements to the comfort, health, and efficiency of your home. With the right system operating at its best, you save money, better enjoy the living environment, and increase the value of your investment. We handle all makes and models for seasonal HVAC maintenance and repairs and offer free estimates on replacements. Call us today at 615-446-8067. 615-446-8067.
Serving Williamson and surrounding counties, Bone and Joint Institute of Tennessee offers comprehensive orthopedic care with 16 subspecialized physicians. Our practice provides high-tech care with a hometown touch. We offer physician clinics, physical and occupational therapy, advanced imaging, and surgical services, including interventional procedures. Call us at 615-791-2630. We're Bone and Joint Institute of Tennessee. High-tech care with a hometown touch.
As a 2-term county commissioner, we built the County Justice Center and the Burns Middle School, all while maintaining a budget surplus. We were able to secure additional funding for all of the volunteer fire departments to get the vital equipment that they need to do their job. I fought on the front lines in Iraq. With your vote, I'll fight on the front lines in our community to give you a voice. Let's do this together.
Paid for by Jeff Eby for State Representative, District 69.
Area 51 Tech Solutions is focused on expert service with quality parts at an affordable price. Their passion is custom-built gaming desktop computers, virtual reality setups, and gadgets, but they also specialize in servicing and repairing all major brands of electronics, including computers, tablets, cell phones, HD TVs, and game consoles. Based in Dixon, they service Middle Tennessee from Clarksville to Murfreesboro and Portland to Columbia. Call them today at 615-379-8113 or visit area51tex.com.
When you think about buying a new or pre-owned car, you might immediately feel anxious about pushy sales staff and being forced into a decision that might not be the right one for you. Our team at Steve Jones Automotive in Dixon is nothing like that. We want to help you find the perfect car, not just the first car you test drive. When you visit our dealership, you'll also see the pricing up front without having to haggle or ask for a special discount. We want to earn your business for life. Come experience the progressive car buying experience with no pressure at Steve Jones Automotive in Dixon, Tennessee. Just a short drive from Nashville and the surrounding area.
Founded in 2005, Pamela Witt, First Lending Solutions, has a reputation of consistently offering the lowest possible rates and, above all, providing outstanding customer service. Pamela Witt, First Lending Solutions, takes pride in treating our clients with honesty and integrity. We provide excellent service and experience you can trust for all your mortgage needs, proudly serving all of Tennessee. Apply today. Call Pamela Witt, First Lending Solutions, 858-518-1506, or online at www.firstlendingonline.com.
NMLS number 314276, ID 135932.
You know, from the looks of things, Brian Stewart has brought reinforcements to his commercial today. Brian, how you doing?
Doing great, George. How are you today?
Good. Who all have you got there? Dadgum, you've got an offensive line worth. I mean, I don't mean in size, but
yeah.
Watson, help me get out of this.
We'll just pretend like we didn't hear the O-line. These are all my defensive backs, right? This is
beautiful.
Yeah. Watson, how are you today?
Good, Brian. Good
Hey,
looking bunch you got behind you, man.
Well, we've got Nathan Skelly here, Nick Aubrey, Amy Harrison, and Crystal Locke. These are some of my newer agents. Amy's been with us a little bit longer, but my other three here are pretty much brand new. So I just wanted to come on and let them see you guys that y'all are hard at work down there at SEC Media Days. Seems like y'all are having a great time down there. And
we are.
Did you get to say hi to Nick Saban for me today?
You know, I didn't. I was close to him, and then the people from the Vatican shoot him away. Either that or they shooed me away. It is amazing, though, Brian. Just his presence draws all these people, and I'm like, do these people have jobs? I mean, is this their summer vacation just to get a look at him? It's crazy.
Yeah, I think it is just to get a look at him. I mean, when you go down there for A-Day or anything like that, it's it's all about just can we see Saban and be around the spectacle that's him.
So you've got a staff that you've got some veterans, but you've got some new folks as well, and I'm sure they've brought some real energy to what you're doing.
Absolutely. I mean, right now, before we hopped on the air with you guys, we were in the middle of a new agent meeting. That's something that I feel like is beneficial at One Stop Realty for any agent out there looking for a new home. We offer all kinds of training, a lot of that being hands-on from me myself. My new agents here behind me, we were going over listing presentations and all that kind of good stuff and what to say. And most importantly, and I think we can all agree, what not to say sometimes. So we're all learning. And it's just one of the ways that we want to, kind of pass along what we learn here in the office to our potential clients out there. We want to make sure that we're doing the best job possible for anybody that chooses to work with any agent from One Stop Realty.
Tell them how to reach you.
Got my cell phone at 615-440-7011. The office number is 615-822-0750. Website is onestoprealtytn.com. And as always, we're on Facebook and Instagram.
Brian, you have a good one.
You too, guys. Thank y'all so much.
Talk to you tomorrow. Okay, Watson, I got a few questions.
Throw them at me, babe.
Why did Mike Leach choose Mississippi State?
He always, to me, goes against what you would think. and I don't know that he does that on purpose. It's just Mike. I didn't think he fit the place at all, and yet I think they really like him, and I think he's going to get it done. I think he's going to get it done there, and but I cannot answer that one other than everything Mike has always done to me a little bit surprised me. The job I thought he did best of all of them was Texas Tech, George. I think he did a good job at Washington State. But this guy started as basically a graduate assistant with Hal Mumme, was his offensive line coach. They go watch, well, I guess they're at Valdosta, even at a Division III, maybe then went to Valdosta State together. They go watch this fast-paced practice of, I can't remember the school, and all the things they've done came from that day. That Mike and Hal put this fast-paced offense together that I should have hit on that myself because we're throwing it. We're way ahead of the game in a lot of ways in the early 80s and late 70s, but I didn't put that together. And Hal and Mike did that, and it's made them very, very successful. And that all came from watching one Division III practice one day.
Now wait a minute. You saying you never ran no huddle?
Oh no, we ran no huddle, but we didn't do it at the pace they do it. I was one of the original no huddle guys. I think we may have been the first to ever call plays from the sidelines of no huddle. And then people did 2-minute, George, and so did I, and everybody had a 2-minute offense. But these guys took 2-minute and made it the whole game. And that was Hal, in my opinion, or Mike, I'm not sure who really, but they took that, did it at Valdosta State, took it to Kentucky. Then Mike goes as the offensive coordinator to Oklahoma, and then head coach at the 3 places he's been since. But give them credit. I think they're the ones that really started the whole game fast pace that you're seeing everybody do now.
As of this moment, is Georgia ahead of Alabama?
I never put anybody in front of Alabama when it starts.
There's your lesson, Billy.
I've learned my lesson. I just don't do it. If they prove it as the year goes on, okay, I'm not putting anybody in front of Alabama the way that program is going right now.
Leach or Nick Saban, which one enjoys talking to the media less?
I promise you, Mike Leach doesn't like it. He's good because he does it a different way. Mike does not like it. Did you hear his opening comment today?
Yeah, I was just about to say that.
I'm here only because they make me be here.
He just said, all right, anybody got any questions?
I personally think Nick loves it. I think he loves every minute of it. He loves to try to manipulate them, get them all to see his way. I mean, and he's very good at it. Winning does help that for the years.
Watson, what did you think about SEC Media Days as a coach?
I thought they were important for us at Vanderbilt because we're always trying to catch up. We want to be one of those guys that's thought of as just like an Alabama, Georgia, Florida, whatever, Tennessee, as it was in my time in the 80s that I was at Vanderbilt as offensive coordinator and head coach. And so I always thought it was a great time to try to sell Vanderbilt nationally, that we weren't getting some of the games these other guys were getting or whatever, Billy. So I looked at it as a plus. I look back on it, and I probably overdid it in a positive way because I wanted everybody to feel good about us going into the year, maybe stronger than I really felt. So I might have done that a little, but I really thought it was a good thing for Vanderbilt.
What was SEC Media Day like then?
Sitting in Birmingham. It was in Birmingham in my early year, all the way through. And you've been there, George, many times. You know exactly how it was. I don't think it's much different. I mean, gosh, you'd come up those escalators and at the Wyndham Hotel, and those Alabama fans, when Nick was there, wasn't Nick then. I guess it was Coach Stallings.
Tide Pride.
Man, I'm telling you, and they were all over the place that day. You did not want to. I laughed when Clark had to go in today with Nick Saban in the morning. I know exactly what he felt. It might not be as bad, guys, in Atlanta. You can imagine being Birmingham with the tide out.
Oh, it was totally out of control.
Home game. They're dressed, George, tell Billy, they're dressed out of sight. I mean, it's
you should have seen some of the outfits today.
Alabama showed. Auburn was that way too, but nobody was like Alabama.
Nobody would. Let me put it this way: nobody was wearing UAB stuff.
No.
There wasn't a UAB then.
That's another conversation.
UAB football at that point.
That's another conversation for a later time. What happened to Alabama playing the in-state mid-major schools? They don't play UAB anymore. They don't play Jacksonville State. They don't play Troy. And Saban got some questions about that today, so maybe we can save that for a later show.
Good. They never played UAB. They never have. Understand now, the Alabama folks and the UAB folks that didn't
don't get along.
We had the same exact people running our universities, same board. The Alabama's board is UAB's board. But yet the Alabama folks and the UAB folks, Coach Bartow made some statements way back, as George remembers, about Coach Bryant. And man, they went national. And he was at UAB as the AD and basketball coach when he made them. And since that time, it's not been a good.
He'd like to have had those back.
No, that don't. The crimson and the green and gold don't work together. No.
George, we got to give some love to the Gamecocks today. We're running out of time up against the break here.
Oh, no.
But South Carolina, they are sponsored by Complete Service Heat and Air. Complete Service Heat and Air is the sponsor today for South Carolina. So real quick, Shane Beamer was pretty impressive today.
Well, first of all, he did a one-on-one with me. Watson, I don't know if he thought I was important or was he bored, had nothing else to do. But he did a one-on-one with me, and we will run that on Friday. How about that?
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Good job, George.
Okay, so we're going to the break.
We gotta hit the break, George.
Yes, and then when we come back, it's the dreaded plaster bet of the day. You want to lose money? Stick with me.
With 14 locations across Tennessee, family-owned Fast Stop Markets knows you need simple. The one-stop shop for fuel, food, and more now offers Fast Stop Perks, an easy-to-sign-up rewards program that turns your purchases into points that you can spend like cash. You can also win prizes, join clubs, and save big. Get your Fast Stop Perks card at checkout or download the Fast Stop Perks app to start earning your points today. Fast Stop Markets, keeping you moving.
C&K Forklift Repair understands that a non-working forklift puts a hold on your team's ability to do its job. Our certified technicians work quickly and efficiently 24 hours a day to repair and provide maintenance on your forklift using only high-quality replacement parts. With over 15 years' experience, C&K Forklift Repair also provides training and instruction for forklift operators covering all of Middle Tennessee, Southern Kentucky, and Northern Alabama. Give us a call, 615-651-2735.
State Farm Agency Micah Blunt is proud to bring you live coverage from SEC Media Days. Micah was born and raised in Tennessee and takes pride in providing the highest degree of protection for all customers. State Farm offers auto, home, and life insurance at the price you can afford. Located in Dixon, Tennessee, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Give Micah and his team a call today to help with all of your insurance needs. Serving all of Tennessee, call 615-229-2999. That's 615-229-2999.
Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Maury County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
Oh, let's be honest. Plaster bet of the day. We're in a slump. Watson, I've lost 3 in a row. Now, I don't know that last night necessarily was a total loss. I mean, when you've got that many different people and you're trying to pick one out of the group, I went Pete Alonso. Congrats to Juan Soto. Man, he did great.
Well, yeah, and that one, I get on you about picking the easy games, but that one last night, now, that was hard. I might have passed on that one if I was you.
So, Watson, we're 2-4, and we need a win. And tonight, we're going to get a win. You ready?
But first, George, let's take a look at the results.
No, yeah,
so
whatever.
far, you are 2-4. So you need this tonight to get back on track. I know we keep saying that, but You can't go to 2-5. That's a pretty big hole. Getting to 3-4, that would be a big win. So that's where you're at right now.
2-5, and the alumni start coming to your home.
The Tide Pride?
No, they'll undo your trash cans, and then they'll knock on the door and try and get your furniture out. Here's what we've got tonight. Yes, the National League is finally going to win this thing.
That's a gutsy bet, George.
It is. They have lost 8 in a row and 22 of the last 25.
We got Chris Yao shaking his head over here.
You know what? To heck with him. I mean, he doesn't have to take the heat tomorrow if this doesn't work. National League. It's a good league. They're going to win, I think.
Or do you want them to win?
I'd like for them to win. What do you think, Watson?
I think you're betting with your heart.
You got to take your emotions out of your bets, George.
Well, first of all, here's a good piece of news. No bet tomorrow. There are no games.
So
that's good news for you, buddy.
Absolutely. I mean, I feel like a win tonight, and we've got momentum going back into Thursday. What do you think?
I think I like the picture on the front, though, when he put your record up there. That was a good picture.
Go ahead and put it back up there. Let's see what we got.
Put that back up there. Look at that. What year was that?
What were you, 30 when that was taken?
You're in no position to talk, given that picture we use in the open. Oh, my God. That thing, you were a GA under Pat Dye.
Neither of y'all can joke about age. That
was my first year at Vanderbilt, George. I aged a bunch from that point on.
And Billy just needs to stay out of this. Okay, tomorrow we got a great show for you. It will begin with David Cutcliffe, who is a good friend of Watson's, a good friend of mine, and he's going to tell us about the cardiologist that told him, if the food tastes good, spit it out. We'll see you tomorrow.
Main Street Media, live from SEC Media Days in Atlanta, is presented by Shelter Insurance of Dixon and Jim Pratt and Heather Clifton. Shelter Insurance. We're your shield. We're your shelter. And in part by Bone and Joint Institute of Tennessee, Steve Jones Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram Fiat, Jeff Eby for State Representative, Red Bird Realty, Porter Brothers HVAC LLC, Area 51 Tech Solutions, Micah Blunt State Farm Agency, Middle Tennessee Bone and Joint, Denton's The TV Store, Fast Stop Markets of Middle Tennessee, C&K Forklift Service and Repair, First Lending Solutions and Pam Witt, and by the Roxy 8 Theater of Dixon.